Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the AGP Sportscast for today, March the 20th. I'm Samuel Gillis. We begin the cast by telling you that Team Belize is here. They are ready to play. Speaking via phone today after the arrival, Captain of Belize, Woodrow West, stated that though the team knows nothing about Guyana, the game at hand is important and they are ready to play. Let's turn our attention to some boxing news. The Guyana Boxing Association is preparing in fine style to participate in the Pan American Games. But according to the president of Guyana Boxing Association, he is still awaiting the necessary funding from the National Sports Commission. Here is the story. The 2019 Pan American Games will begin on Friday, the 26th of July, and end on Sunday, the 11th of August. In the meanwhile, Guyana Boxing Association is doing its part in preparing for the game, but is being met with some difficulties in finding funds for airfare for the 5 boxers they seek to send. Steve Ninval, the president of Boxing Association of Guyana, spoke with Nightly News in a phone interview and expressed his bewilderment at the delay for an answer from the National Sports Commission on the issue.
We are waiting word from the National Sports Commission as it relates to the support, governmental support, for sending that team. Our team that we're sending have four current Caribbean champions. And one who's a former Caribbean champion. So it's a very strong team. The team has been derived and selected from the National Open, which was held in November, and then they went on to the Caribbean Championship, and then we would have selected that team.
April 1st to April 11 is the qualifiers for the games that Guyana hopes to attend. The president said he has complied with what the Sports Commission is asking for and is baffled at the delay and the reason as to why the National Sports Commission has not come through for them as yet. He noted that while they wait to procure tickets for the team and to have an answer as to the amount of contribution the NSC will give, airfare is rising daily. Despite the setbacks, the sport of boxing has been showing great potential and bringing value to Guyana.
I'm very, very pleased with what we've been able to do. We've said during the course of 2019 we would be placing some emphasis on our youth and junior. We've actually done that. We've had 2 on the 16 competitions being held for the year already. This has surpassed what we would have done last year. We've also been able, and we have earmarked 3 of our coaches going to become 2-stars. Guyana's never had a 2-star coach before.
For AGP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis. In basketball, Vikings yield Pepsi Sonic for the win. As the second division GABA knockout tournament continues at the Barnum Hard Court, Stanford Howard has this story.
The second division fixture of the Let's Bet Sports Tournament got underway last evening under the lights at the Barnum Hard Court. The division has a 5 single-team elimination process. In the first elimination match, Sonics went up against Vikings. From jump ball, Vikings looked positive in the way they maneuvered the court and executed their shots and defended when they needed to, which led them to a 3-point margin at the end of the first quarter. The table had turned by the end of the second quarter, with Pepsi Sonics gaining some momentum by beating out Vikings 25-12 points to end the second half with a 10-point lead. When the second half resumed, Vikings then pulled a few tricks of their own to gain some ground on the court to close the gap to just 2 to end the third. In the final quarter, both teams pushed each other as basket after basket until in the closing seconds, Vikings took the lead and passed Sonics for the win, 74-69. For HJP Sport, I am Stanford Howard.
In cricket this evening, Barbados and Jamaica records wins at round 2 of the Colonial Medical Insurance Women's Super 50. Jaden Samuels reports.
In brilliant sunshine at the Providence Stadium, West Indies runs maker Deandra Doughton and Casey Knight ensured Barbados began their campaign with a win, amassing 334 and losing just 3 wickets in their 50 overs, which proved too much for the Windward Islands. Sent in to bat after losing the toss, Hayley Matthews and Casey Knight was off to a flyer, setting a solid foundation for Barbados, but Matthews, after being set to register her century was caught and bowled by Guyana Joseph. Deandra Dottin then joined Kesia and the massacre continued. Both Dottin and Knight brought up their half-centuries. Meanwhile, at the Everest Cricket Club ground, Charmaine Campbell, despite her 111, tried to lead Guyana to victory over Jamaica, but her efforts proved futile. Winning the toss and batting first, Guyana made 242 with the only other support of substance coming from Tremaine Smart. She made 58. Needing 243 for victory, Stephanie Taylor smashed the captain's knock of 119 and got good support from Rashana Williams. She made 47 and Chideen Nation 30 as Jamaica chased down the target in just 46.4 overs. Meantime, Trinidad and Tobago had the shortest match of round 2 when they bowled out the Leeward Islands for just 76 runs. Leandra Ramdeen wreaked havoc on the Leeward's batting lineup, taking 4 for just 12 runs. Felicia Walters, with 32 not out, guided Trinidad and Tobago to victory and a vital bonus point. Jaden Samuels, GP Sport.
And finally, in cricket, with Cricket West Indies presidential elections just days away, Ricky Skerritt and Shalot's campaign team is tightening the screw as the campaign continues. Jaden has more.
The duo has requested that the financial statements dating back to 2016 be presented in the wake of financial impropriety allegations by the two who were looking to displace the Dave Cameron regime this time around. On Monday last, Cricket West Indies clarified the liability issue and payments owed to former coach Phil Simmons on his dismissal, and also addressed statements made by Skerritt's team. Skerritt's explanation suggested that Cameron's tenure has caused significant damage to the board in both financial and reputation-wise. In Cameron's defense, Cricket West Indies stated that it was not Cameron himself but Cricket West Indies Compensation Committee which recently agreed on an increase in the president's monthly expenses. $4,000 for the president, $2,000 for the vice president, and $700 to all other directors. Cricket West Indies also mentioned that the committee, which is being chaired by Anand Kaladin, who is also the chairman of finance, said Cameron had nothing to do with this since he's neither a member nor does he attend meetings. Jaden Samuels, GP Sport.
Thank you, Jaden. And that's all we have for this edition of the AGP Sportscast. But do remember, success is not an happening. It is a result. There is nothing mysterious about progressing. It is doing instead of doubting and working instead of wishing. Goodbye.